Okay, hi everyone. So I know there have been some questions about scoring the SPAT-D and different components. So I figured I would do a little video demonstration to help you walk through it. So I have Taylor's SPAT pulled up and we won't go through the whole thing together, but I'll just show you how to start it. So with the SPAT-D, obviously you have the target word, the response, and the transcription. You're going to be using the transcription to fill out the information within the response. So for this very first one, the target word was wagon, and Taylor said wadden. So the SPAT-D primarily looks at consonants, and that's what we're going to be marking as incorrect on the test sheet. Don't do anything with the correct ones. You're just going to confuse yourself. So I would just mark what's incorrect. So in Taylor's case, we had a D for a G. So I would write that down. And then I wouldn't put anything in the other ones. And we're just going to keep going. So same thing with the word red. He said wed. So again, we will put the error in the spot and then leave the correct consonant by itself. One thing to note, there are instances where Taylor just doesn't say anything at all. Oh, it moves with the screen. So in this case, you would either just put like a slash because it's still considered incorrect. It's missing, it's omitted. So like, yeah, in four, Taylor said faux. So this is technically just like a distortion. I would still count it as incorrect. Even if there's nothing there, put a slash, anything like that. Cool. So at the very end, you are going to tally up correct responses. It's very easy to get things messed up, but we are going to be counting correct responses only. So what I would do, usually if I was scoring the SPAT-D, I would circle the correct ones as I went, just so I knew what I was counting. I recommend don't go horizontally because again, that's just going to confuse you. I would go by row. So start with the initial responses, go down, count all the correct ones, go into medial, count all the correct ones there, final, count all the correct ones, total up your response. That is your raw score. You will use this score, go into your test manual for the SPAT-D. It's found on page 20. Use that raw score, calculate a standard score, a confidence interval, and a percentile rank. Now, the other things about the SPAT-D that I just kind of want to touch on. So this consonant classification chart, this is how you can organize the errors that you're seeing. So the way that this chart is laid out is it shows you what position that phoneme is located within the target words. So for this very first one, M, we can see that initial M can be found in target 35. So if you scroll down to target 35, there it is, M in milk, and Taylor got it. So we wouldn't put anything in there, and you would just do that for the rest of the positions. So medial M would be in number 30, which would be swimming, which again, Taylor got. So we're good. We don't have to put anything. But let's say you make it all the way down to 17, voiceless TH. Okay. First place voiceless TH appears in the initial position is 19. So right here, it looks like Taylor produced a T instead of a TH. Put the T into this spot because it's incorrect. There was a substitution. So you're going to do that for the rest of the consonants. Be careful because there are multiple responses for some questions. So for example, like 21 has bathtub, soap, and yes. So just make sure you're looking for the right target when you're completing this. That's all you have to do for this one. Let's see. Okay, so percent of consonants correct. This is just the amount of consonants that the child got correctly out of the total number of intended consonants. So in this case, there are 23 consonants, and you're just going to count up how many there were no errors in initial, medial, and final. If there was even one error within that section, the entire phoneme is counted as incorrect. So just to remember that. You don't have to worry about stimulability because stimulability testing is something that's completed after the test is done just to see if the child is stimulable. But if you would like, Taylor does produce some of these sounds in different positions. So for example, like G, he doesn't produce it in the initial position for some of them, but like for the word think it was like dog or something. He got the final G. So he would be stimulable for that phoneme. And I think that's about all. You don't have to worry about this consonant blends chart. Again, very similar to the one up above. It's just to organize responses. I don't think Taylor got any blends, but you can go through that if you would like. And yes, I think that's about it. Please let me know if you have any additional questions. I hope this video was helpful. And yeah, reach out if you need anything else. Thanks.